Hey everybody, it's me again, Moody Boo, and I'm back with another 8 great perfumes. And this one is on cherries and berries, which I love and adore in a perfume, but it's got to be done right. So let's just get started. Oh wait, before I start, I think I have 3 cherry perfumes, 2 strawberry perfumes, a raspberry, a blueberry, and a black currant. There you go. So the first one I'm going to talk about is, of course, take a guess. Let's see if you can figure out who it is. It's a Hilde Soliani. I can't help it if she is so genius that she creates perfumes for almost every list I make. It's not her fault. It's just a burden being brilliant. And I haven't had this bottle very long. I got it, I think, fall of last year, and it just didn't seem like the right time of year to wear it. I tested it out, knew I loved it. I knew I'd be rocking it this spring. And it's just cherry. That's the only note that they have listed on Fragrantica, and knowing Hilde Soliani, that's probably right. She can take the fewest amount of notes and create colorful masterpieces with them. I don't even know how she does it. I think there's a little bit of magic involved, maybe, possibly some magic. But this is gorgeous. When you first spray it, it reminds me of soda. It's fizzy and sweet and fruity, but it's like a Fanta, I want to say, and that's what this reminds me of. It's so good. Very linear. A lot of times her perfumes are very linear, but that means there's no big surprises. That means when you first spray it, you don't have to sit there and mourn the top notes because they disappear on you. Once you spray one of her perfumes, that's pretty much what you get throughout the entirety of the wearing, for the most part. Not with all of them, but for most ones that I have anyway. So that's my first cherry, and I just popped my first cherry. And that's Una Terra Alta by Hilde Soliani. All right, moving on. So the next one I'm going to talk about is by Tom Ford, and that's Lost Cherry. Now this one took me a little bit to warm up to. I felt like when I first spray it, it's on the verge of being a little urinal cakey, just for like 5 minutes. And then the beauty happens. It warms up and it never gets real sweet. It stays very unisex throughout the whole thing. And there's some almond and tonka, and there's some other fruits in there and some woods, and there's definitely some spices. I definitely get some cinnamon. This reminds me of a fresh baked cherry pie, basically. Oh, but it's not quite that gourmand. I shouldn't say that because that confuses people, but that's what I do best, is confuse people. So let me continue. So to clarify, if I'm able to clarify, it's not gourmand, but it does remind me of a cherry pie. It's almost as if a fresh baked cherry pie was allowed to cool in a room filled with some spices and had cedar paneling in there, and maybe some sandalwood laying around, because we all have sandalwood laying around. But it's beautiful once you get past that first few minutes. And it is very unisex. It's very sophisticated, I feel, for a cherry perfume. I mean, a lot of times you add cherries and strawberries to a perfume, it tends to become very young, very young girl kind of smelling, and this is not. A guy could rock this as easily as a woman. Performance is great on it too. So that's another cherry. And this one, I popped the last one, and this one I lost. So sad for me. Moving on. So the last cherry perfume in the list is also my latest acquisition, and this is Comi al Soleil, or Comi al Soleil, I don't know, by Bois 1920. This one blew my bloomers off, let me tell you. This is, oh, squeaky. lid off. Anyway, this is cherry and balsam and benzoin and labdanum and tonka and vanilla, and it's just this beautiful, beautiful cherry perfume. I probably like this even better than Tom Ford, if you can believe it, the Lost Cherry, because this cherry is warm and rich and sweet, but not cloying. And that is the trick, I think, to a lot of these berry perfumes, is that if they make them too sweet, if they add too many sweet notes, then it becomes little kitty Play-Doh kind of, smelling fruits. But man, Bois 1920, they blew it away. Or is it Bois? I've heard it both ways. Bois and Bois. I always thought that Bois was pronounced Bois, but I don't know. Maybe not. So let me know. Is it Bois? Bois or Bois? Anyway, side note, squirrel. So this is gorgeous. Again, very unisex, even though cherry is very dominant in this. Because the balsams and the benzoin and the tonka and the labdanum, they just butch it up really nicely to where teenagers need not apply. The only complaint I have about this is performance isn't that great. After about maybe an hour or two, it kind of does become a skin scent. So I usually do 2 to 3 blasts with this, but this is so pretty. Comi al Soleil, Bois 1920, Bois 1920. So the next group is strawberry. And this perfume, I had to walk away and I came back to, and now I love it. And it is by Slumberhouse, and that's Sedane. Anyway, this is like strawberry wine. When I was a kid, and seriously, when I was a kid, like 13, 14 years old, things were a little different back in the 70s. Anyway, I could pretty easily get people to buy wine for my girlfriends and I. And back then, there was a wine called TJ Swan. You were either an Annie Greensprings person or you were a TJ Swan person. Most people were into Annie Greensprings. I was not. I loved TJ Swan. They had 2 wines, and I can't believe I still remember this: Easy Nights and Mellow Days. And my girlfriends and I, we drank many a bottle of it. And Easy Nights, this reminds me of Easy Nights. It was kind of a strawberry wine. And we get shit canned drunk. We drink a bottle of that and pass out on my bed. And do it all again, the next month, whenever we could get some more wine. But like I said, it was a lot different world back then. But this is a beautiful strawberry wine. I know there's some ambergris and some other notes in there, but really, that is what I get. And I think that's why it threw me off when I first smelled it, because I knew it reminded me of something, but I wasn't sure what, and it was a little weird. And then I remembered why, because it reminded me of TJ Swan, the wine. And I wasn't sure if I wanted to smell like that, but once I put it on, it warms up, and it never gets too sweet. And it does one of those Slumberhouse things where it just blooms. So be careful. Any Slumberhouse perfume, I don't care if it's pear and olive, be careful with the spritzing, because you may not realize how aromatic you are, but everybody else around you will. So these project like crazy. This is a beautiful strawberry wine perfume. All right, moving on. The next strawberry I'm going to talk about is by Lattafa, and this is Ser al Khulud, or Khulud. It's like Khullood. Anyway, this stuff surprised me. I bought this because I saw the note pyramid, and I wanted to own another Lattafa after Amir Al Oud and Rugba. And I wanted to try something different than their oudi, ambery, cinnamony kind of perfumes. And this sounded way on the other spectrum, and it is, but it's wonderful. I was stunned. Lattafa is really a good house. I mean, you know, I have bought a few that have been misses, but this is not. This is a hit, and this thing performs too. It's basically strawberry, and there's some sugar, and there's some tuberose and vanilla in there. And when I first spray it, it's a little synthetic. I know on Fragrantica, I wrote a review about it, that it's like strawberry shortcake came to life and started slam dancing in your nostrils, because it is pretty beastly. So be careful with spraying. But once that dries down, it becomes very beautiful. It's the florals move in, and a little bit of amber comes in there, and it really is, and it's super, super affordable. I think I bought this for $25, $30. And this is a huge bottle. This is a 100 ml bottle. So, you know, $30 for 100 mLs of beautiful strawberry perfume, super quality. I tell you, more people need to check out Middle Eastern perfumes. They've been doing it longer than we have here in the US, and they got it going on. They know some shit. They got some skills. So, next up. So the next one is a black currant perfume, and I have mentioned it before. I did a review on it a long time ago when it first came out. If I'm not mistaken, it is the founders of Fragrantica that started this Vagabond Prince house, and this is the first release they had from that house, Enchanted Forest. And this is so gorgeous. It's just forest berries in a forest. That's really all I get. Little bit of boozy notes in there, just slightly, but it's so stunning. When I rediscovered it, because it was tucked back in a drawer, when I was like, holy shit, I gotta wear it. In fact, I'm gonna put some on right now, because I haven't put on any perfume today. So, oh my God, it's stunning. Really, it's all black currant and forest. And it's moist. It's a forest after a rain. And the performance on this is crazy. But be careful, like I mentioned before, my bottle leaked from the moment I got it, the moment I opened it up. And there was some leaking issues around the sprayer. So I had to seal that up. So just be very careful if you do buy a bottle of it. Just love this bottle too. The only thing I don't like, it's a little tippy. I don't like tippy bottles. I like stable bottles. But not too fat bottles, not too tall bottles. I like them kind of short, squatty body square, so I can stack them. There's a little nugget for you that you really wanted to know. So there you go. That one's on there for free. Next. The next one is by Kerosene, and this is Fields of Rubus. And this is such a gorgeous perfume. I think people have forgotten about it. It's just tobacco, patchouli, and raspberry. That's mainly what I get. And it's pretty linear. So when you first spray it, you get a little more of the raspberry. But then as it dries down, you get more of the tobacco and the patchouli with a fruity finish. Oh, and in the very dry down, there's some woods and some vanilla in there, but it's not real sweet at all. It is a gorgeous perfume. I know I only have a decant, but that's okay with me. Because when I run out, I will buy a full bottle. No problem. Beautiful perfume. Kerosene's perfumes, I think, are highly underrated. I think more people need to get their noses on them. He is another master of his art. There you go. My raspberry note. I don't know why I did that. It was a raspberry. I just wanted to fall in line with it. Next. And the very last one is by Bond Number 9. This is the blueberry note. And this is I Love New York for Her. Oh, this is blueberry muffin. Warm, fresh baked blueberry muffin all day long to me. This is so pretty. It's just sweet, blueberries, and there's a little patchouli in there, and there's a little vanilla and a little leather in the dry down, but you don't get a lot of that. The blueberry muffin stays throughout the whole thing, and those other notes just kind of come in and out, but it's that blueberry muffin. That's the star of this show, and it's so pretty. Oh my God. I think this is total unisex. I don't know why a guy can't wear blueberries as much as a woman. So I haven't smelled the male version of this, but I am curious about it. But this is gorgeous. I love New York for her. Blueberry muffin all day. All right. So that is it for another 8 great perfumes. And this is Cherries and Berries. And I'll be back soon. Okay, everybody. Have a good day. Peace.